There we go. Gunicorn is active, so it's running. Okay, cool. Now in case you run into, welcome back to this series of videos. So in the previous video, what we did was that we set up an Ubuntu server on Azure, and we were able to connect to that machine through our local hosts, and we set up our private keys and public keys and all of that. But in this video, what I wanted to show you is how we can have our Python script running continuously. So the first thing we'll have to do, and by the way, the software I am using here for my terminal is not the usual terminal. It's called Temias. So in Temias, you can actually have vaults of your servers. You can have multiple servers, and you can connect to those servers on one click. So basically, you save your private keys, and then you don't have to configure the private key every time you try to connect to that machine. Okay, so here we are, in your machine, your Azure machine. The first thing is, let's just confirm if we still have our script in here. I'm just going to go to that directory. Alright, so there we are. We have our weather script. Now let's just try to run it also and just make sure that everything is fine here. Weather app.py. Okay, enter the city, let's say Lusaka. There you go. So humidity 19%, temperature 32 degrees, description broken clouds, and that's the weather in Lusaka. Great. All right, now we want this to be running continuously. As you can see here, you only run it once, and when it's down, it's down. In Node.js, how you would do that is using a tool like PM2, and we can use PM2 here as well, but the recommended for Python is gunicorn, which is what we're going to do here. All right, so I already have for you in my documentation, which you can actually go and click on the link in the description and follow along, so that you're following along with the commands here. The first thing we have to install is gunicorn. Now to install gunicorn, we're going to need pip. So you just I think in my case I already have pip. I'm just going to try if that works. Install pip. The environment is externally managed, so it looks like we need to use pip3. Okay, we seem to be getting an issue. Alright, so it looks like we'll have to go into our virtual environment. Now if you remember from our previous video, in this description here which I gave you, you just have to activate the virtual environment. It looks like we can't run it from the root. Let's see. Okay, we still can't find our virtual environment. We'll have to recreate it again. We already have a directory there. Right, we'll have to create a virtual environment using this command here. Let's go ahead and see how that works. All right, so we have our virtual environment created. Let's see if we can actually activate it now. All right, so our virtual environment is created, and we're inside our virtual environment. Now we're going to try and run the pip command again. All right, there we go. So gunicorn is now installed. So now we can go down to our other commands here. You want to always make sure that before you run any serious commands, you have you update your server, you update your Ubuntu server, because there are always new libraries, new directories that have been created. can see a warning here. Key is stored in legacy trusted GPU. Please don't worry about that. Let's go ahead and install Nginx as well, because we're going to need it later. Just go and say yes. Right, let's do it. Let's see what we have. All right, so we're still in our environment and we still have our weather app. So at this point we have gunicorn. Now you can run gunicorn and it will run like a Python script straight from your terminal, but you can also configure it to run immediately the system starts. So if your Ubuntu server ever goes off, the point at which it comes back on, your gunicorn will spin up the Python script which you currently have. I'm going to show you in a moment. We'll have to configure a file called gunicorn service. We don't have this file, so we'll just have to create it. Once you run this command, it automatically creates a file for you. So let's go ahead and copy this. You can see it will be running on port 5000, so you can paste that. Just make sure that everything is okay. Right, so we'll have to change this path to our directory in a moment. So just hit Command X, yes, enter, and then let's go to let's actually try to start it, see if we'll get any errors here. Looks like it has started, but I can't see any. Let's say status. Just check the status. Alright, so it actually failed to run, and the issue is it's not getting the path to our virtual environment. Alright, so the path to our virtual environment, let's go and do ls. Path to our virtual environment is actually this one here. So if I say cd weather environment, that is our path. So basically now we'll just copy this path, alright, up to there. Go ahead and copy that to cd dash dash to go back to ls. Okay, that's looking good. Now we're going to edit the same file which we created to make sure that the directories are fine. Come back to working directory here and just eliminate all these things that are here. You can paste that, and yeah, it's looking good, but let's just get rid of this so that we only have the directory there. And here we are going to need to have the path to the virtual environment as opposed to the automatically generated one. So hit Command or Control X if you're on the Mac, Y, enter. Now we'll try to run this command again, just see if everything is fine. Okay, we seem to run system to reload units. Let me just check the status. Okay, alright, so it looks like we need to enable the system running. Where is this command coming from? Just expand this. Okay, just exit out of that for now, and then let's try run it again. Start. So we're actually getting this error here. Okay, just gonna copy that and then we can paste it, try to run it. Let's see what happens, and try gunicorn again. We are looking good now. We can check the status. So I ran into a couple errors, trying to install gunicorn and having it to run. I'm just going to walk you through some of those errors, just in case you run into them, and then you can see how to fix them. Alright, so the first thing is, let's just go up somewhere here. I've been trying to run gunicorn And by the way, I've updated the Python script. It's in another file on the same GitHub link, which is in the description. Just follow the link and you'll be able to find the updated source code. All right, so coming back here, yeah, we were trying to start gunicorn, but it was failing. Then we got it to run at this point. All right, and the issue was that I needed to configure gunicorn for to run immediately the machine starts, for example, and then to just set, and mind you, all this is happening within a virtual environment on the machine. So you create another environment so that you're not running on the root. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So as you can see here, we're in the weather environment. Now I'm going to show you how that file looks like and what command you need to run. So where is that command? It's a nano command. So okay, this is for Nginx. We'll set up Nginx in the next video. In this video, I just want to show you how to run gunicorn. Just a minute. Okay, there we go. So this is the file which you need to create, gunicorn.service. So you need to pass your working directory here. This is the directory where your source code is being stored. And then this other directory is the directory for your environment. As you can see, this is weather environment, which is the environment we're in. Then gunicorn will be starting the service from the virtual beg your pardon, from the virtual environment. All right, so you can get out of this environment by hitting Command X or Control X on Windows or Ubuntu. I'm using Ubuntu, so that's a Control X. We didn't make any changes, so as you can see, it just automatically switched us from the other from that side to the other side. Now, once gunicorn is running, and for you to check your directory, you might want to check your directory. But if you've been following this this series of videos from the first one to this one, you probably are at the same point we are, and so you should have the same directories that we're having. But if you're having different directories and you're trying to run this on a separate machine which is not spinned up from Azure, you just have to run which gunicorn. I beg your pardon. That should be gunicorn. So let's just run that again. That should be gunicorn. All right. So what this will do is that it will give you your working directory. Now this is the same directory which you need to set in your service file, which I have here, as you can see here. So just make sure all your directories are aligned. All right, now we'll go back and let's just try to check to run gunicorn. Just try and restart it, and then we'll check the status. Let's come back here, replace restart with status. There we go. Gunicorn is active, so it's running. Okay, cool. Now in case you run into errors to do with your port number, which could be port 5000, if you come back to Azure here, click on networking and then go to network settings, you will see under here you will see network security groups. Now in here you have to enable port 5000. So if you don't have this, go ahead and click on create a port and then create an inbound port rule, and it will look something like this. Make sure your port is a 5000 because we are running this on port 5000, and the protocol should be TCP. You can leave the destination on any, source any, and then you can keep a star there for all the ranges. For the service, just keep it on custom. Priority 1004 is okay, and you can save that. Now come back to Temias. You can see here everything is running. We're going to try now to just check if we can retrieve the weather in Lusaka. So let's try to run our command again. So this is the command you'll be running. You'll be running 127, and that's localhost because we've configured this on the localhost. Of course, as we go on, we'll set up Nginx. We'll do some reverse proxying and then we'll have this whole thing running on your public IP. But for now, we're going to run this with our local host. Okay, so let's try to change this to Lusaka so that we can see the weather in Lusaka. That's HTTP 127.0.0.1, 5000 as the port, and then weather as the endpoint, and then the city, you define it as Lusaka. So enter that, and we should get some feedback. So this is a JSON formatted feedback that you will get here. Now, in case you're still getting errors with like installing requests, which is what you might run into, and then it might also ask you to install things like Flask, because gunicorn runs on Flask. So you need to install Flask before you run gunicorn. Just run pip install Flask, and this should go ahead and install Flask. For me, it's already installed, so it says already satisfied. And then if you look at the source code which is updated, and please look at the source code which is updated. The updated source code is configured for Flask and gunicorn. So if you look at the updated source code, we are requiring the Python script to use requests. Okay, so you need to install requests. If you notice an error in your gunicorn logs, you should be able to see a request module which needs to be installed. So you just do pip install requests. Okay, and that is already satisfied on my machine, of course, but for you, you need to install that, and that should be fine. And then after that is done, you can go ahead and run your Python script. Now at this point, everything is running, and even if my machine was to go off, your machine was to go off, your endpoint will still be working, everything will be fine. So we have achieved what we wanted to do in this video. Now in the next video, we'll be installing Nginx, and we'll be doing some reverse proxying. We'll have our public IP to be used instead of the local host, which is 127 here. And then yeah, then we'll have any other thing that we need to add on to that. But I hope you learned something in this video. Let's just try to run this one more time. All right, there we go. We're still getting the same feedback. And this actually becomes an endpoint. So if you're developing a mobile application with this endpoint right now, you can literally get it and use it to collect data in your application, data such as what is, you know, how is the weather in a particular country. And you can, if you know how this API works, you can actually break it down to things like cities, and break down the city and get the specifics of how the weather is, you know, the winds and stuff like that, and you know, and whatever app you want to build. But yeah, that is it, guys. I hope you learned something in this video. I did personally, because I had to fix some errors. So I've learned something. I hope you did. Please don't forget to like and save this video somewhere on your playlist, so that you can follow along with the other videos that will be coming in this series of videos. So yeah, that's it, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.